So how's it going, boss buddies? Now, last week I received a couple of samples. Well, she sent me quite a few samples, in fact, from a wonderful new UK company, which is a new niche brand. So I'm going to be back in a second with my full review of Stories 1 and 2 by Eliza Grace. So welcome back. I hope everyone's had a fantastic week. Now, I was very fortunate enough last week to be sent some samples from a new niche brand in the UK called Stories by Eliza Grace. So far, she's just got two different fragrances so far. So there's Stories number 1 and Stories number 2. So a couple of days ago I had a full wearing of Stories number 2, which you may have seen on my Instagram, and then today I was wearing Stories number 1. So I just wanted to go over and give you a quick review of what I thought about these wonderful new fragrances. Let's start off with Stories number 2, which is the one I wore first. Just check I've got the right notes and everything like that. Now this one is Opoponax, Tonka bean and Patchouli, and they enhance the full body perfume while amber and musk leave a lasting impression. Now I really did enjoy this one. I sprayed it on here a second ago. I really did enjoy this one. This is definitely up. I mean, it's definitely up in the ballpark of something that I would wear. Out of the two, I've probably found this the slightly more masculine one. I mean, they're both unisex fragrances, but they're both very, very beautiful. This one was the slightly stronger one though, so number 2 is the slightly stronger one. What I noticed with both of these though is what I found quite interesting was, especially with number 2, I sprayed it on in the morning. It felt quite strong for about an hour, and then it seemed to sort of go through like a little lull, and then sort of 3 or 4 hours later it seemed to burst back into life again, which was quite funny because I was actually after I posted my pictures on Instagram of that I was wearing Stories number 2, Eliza Grace actually got in touch with me. I should say Tanya from Eliza Grace got in touch with me, and she asked me what I thought about the fragrance, and she was asking me for any feedback. And at the time it was sort of coming up to around 11:30, 12 o'clock midday my time, and I said I just wish the fragrance was a little bit stronger. And funny enough, within half an hour it just completely come back to life again, which really did shock me. And for the rest of the day it seemed to be pretty strong, so I was getting pretty good sort of fragrance. I was getting pretty much good wafts of it every now and then, and it did appear to be quite strong. Now with Stories 1, I did find it a tiny bit weaker, but it did have a similar effect. So I mean, I've noticed it tonight. I've been getting sort of wafts of it and stuff like that after spraying it on first thing this morning, but it was a little bit lighter, I found, with the Stories number 1. Now just going over the sort of the fragrant the fragrant sort of flavour behind this one. This one is a blend of amber, vibrant sandalwood, and a hint of vetiver. So I mean, this one is a little bit fresher. I mean, there's definitely sort of some real sort of vetiver and sort of a slight bit of sandalwood I'd sense in this one, but it's much more vetiver than anything else in there. So I mean, it's a little bit fresher, and I think that's probably why I see it as being a little bit more feminine. Just because I tend to think of vetiver as sort of a very much a fancy sort of day spa kind of smell, especially when you're sort of in South Beach, Miami. Most of the hotel lobbies that you go into where they've got day spa, you can pretty much smell the vetiver sort of wafting away from the day spa. That's one thing that really sort of puts me off of Tom Ford's grey vetiver, is the fact that grey vetiver smells exactly like pretty much every hotel lobby in South Beach. But getting back to the Stories collections, I was really, really impressed, and I love the fact that they asked me for some feedback as well, because I mean, I'm always honest in my reviews, because what's the point in lying? Because if you can help somebody sort of build their brand and increase the quality or anything of their fragrance, I mean, these have got no lacking in quality at all. You can tell that they're using quality ingredients, and they definitely do belong in sort of their price bracket. I mean, they're fairly reasonably priced. Out of the two of them, I would most likely go for number 2. That would be my preference. As I said though, the longevity with both of these is very, very good. The number 1 is the slightly lighter one. So if you are looking for something slightly lighter and a little bit fresher, otherwise if you're looking for something for a bit more sort of peppery and a little bit more spicy, definitely go for the number 2, which I said was my preference. Projection wasn't massive. The number 2 was slightly slightly stronger, as I said. You're probably only looking sort of around 1 to 2 feet with that one. With the number one, it felt a bit more of a skin scent majority of the day, and like I say, I was getting like light wafts even this evening as I was sort of sitting on the sofa, and even through my training session in the gym earlier as well. The number two though, like I said, it come back with a vengeance sort of after about 4 hours of wearing it, and it did seem a lot heavier then. After about sort of 8 or 9 hours though, it did kind of die down, whereas I found the number one did actually last a little bit longer as far as sort of the longevity goes. So I mean that's my thoughts on this fantastic new brand. As I say, I'm from the UK originally, so I love to support UK brands, and it's great to see so many of them coming in, like Allman Jane, and then now Stories by Eliza Grace. There's a few other fantastic houses out there from the UK, and it's good to see that so many different fragrance houses and niche houses are popping up from all over the world, rather than just sort of the French and the Italians and sometimes the Spanish houses. So as usual, please like, comment and subscribe. I would love to hear your thoughts, and let me know if you fancy trying either one of these or both of them. I mean, they're very, very reasonable. I think I paid, I want to say £4 or £6 for each one of these, and they were, I mean, I was very fortunate that, because unfortunately, where Eliza Grace was just getting going, they were a little bit delayed in sending my shipping out, so I had a friend coming over from the UK, and they actually went ahead and shipped it to me right in Grand Cayman, which is something wasn't actually available on their website. So I thank them so much for accommodating me in that way. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram as well. That way you can keep up to date with my scent of the day, anything or any videos that I've got releasing. Don't forget to hit that notification bell as well. That way you get notified anytime I've got a new video coming out. Other than that, stay smelling fantastic. Let me know if you fancy trying either of these. Try a new UK fragrance today. Other than that, like I say, stay smelling fantastic. I'll see you in my very next video very, very soon. Thank you very much for watching.